Kaguya-sama Love is War just ended their serialization on chapter 281. To me, this might be the best romance comedy manga there is. The premise of the show is that whoever confesses their love first will be the loser. And that is an interesting way to look at romantic relationship, which is, you can say it's a little bit of true, as the one who being confessed to has the power to choose whether or not the relationship is formed, and can control the relationship while the loser cannot. The series follow the main character, Shinomiya Kaguya, that tried to make Shirogane Miyuki, the student council president, to confess to her, and vice versa. Their endless battles of outwitting each other are hilarious to watch. Shinomiya oftentimes had the upper hand since he is a genius, just to have all of her plan come crashing down because of the chaos element, Fujiwara Chika. I'm not really into Fujiwara Chika that much as a character, but her participation in the student council has been nothing but a mood maker. She is someone who brings up the mood in the student council with her games and her antics. She adds another funny element to it. If it weren't for her, we would get endless brain battles, and that would be boring. Of course, there is no omnipotent being in this world. Fujiwara Chika has her own natural enemy, and that is Ishigami Yu. If Chika was a feminist, Ishigami is the Ben Safiro, destroying her with facts and logic. Ishigami himself is a depressed guy and hated normies. It is fun to watch his rants about them. Miyuki Shirogane serves as the protagonist, the second most important character in the show. There is nothing much to say about his character. It is just that he is a hardworking guy in all aspects. The story mostly revolves around their daily lives in the student council. It is cheerful, fun, and the story is easy to digest. It kinda reminds me of Sket Dance. Although, in this series, there isn't much tearjerker as much as Sket Dance. Although the story was light, there are some arcs where it gets a little bit serious. The first serious arc is where we take a look at Ishigami's past, where he flubbed some of his youth by punching the boyfriend of his former crush. Because of this, Ishigami was suspended and goes into a depression until Shirogane came and scouted him for the student council. In the sport festival arc, Ishigami overcomes his fear of other people with the help of the cheerleaders club and the student council. This is also the start of Ishigami's crush on his upperclassman named Tsubame Koyasu. She really resembles his former crush from the middle school. Also, after this, Shirogane finally confessed to Kaguya, since he decided to skip the grade and go to Stanford. And I thought it would end here. But no, the series go on despite we already achieved the purpose of the series. There aren't much happening after this event. I think after multiple chapters, Ishigami tried to pull Tsubame, but he failed. It was one of the most painful rejection I've ever seen. It is also the start of Ino, another student council, realizing her feelings for Ishigami. 16 chapters forward, we get to the cherry popping scene between Shirogane and Kaguya. They finally completed the ABC of love. After the rejection, Ishigami was so depressed, he almost lost his sanity and went completely insane. Contrary to him, Ino sees this as a chance to try and seduce Ishigami. Then we see a little bit of an inner conflict from Ishigami, that he cannot believe it was that easy to move on from Tsubame, with just a little bit of an affection from the other girls. After this, we get another serious arc. It was the reveal that Hayasaka Ai, Kaguya's maid, was a spy sent by Kaguya's brother to keep an eye on his sister. This takes place when the Shuchi-in students was on school trip. The conflict ended with Hayasaka's freed from the grasp of Kaguya's brother with the help of Shirogane. And the peak of conflict for this series happens. It was where the Shinomiya Corp facing a crisis. After Gun and Shinomiya, Kaguya's father couldn't be trusted to run his mega company anymore. Shinomiya Kaguya was also denied for her dream following Shirogane to Stanford. His sexist brother was against it. His brother only sees Shinomiya as a female, that can be married into another conglomerate family to boost the Shinomiya Corp. There is also the twist that Shinomiya Corp is the one that made Shirogane Papa's company bankrupt. This made Kaguya felt sad that even though Shirogane Papa knew, he still treated her nicely. At this point, she were arranged to marry Maki Shijo's brother, Mikado Shijo, the one guy who could beat Shirogane in terms of academic. His character introduction is a bit sudden. Since it was nearly the end of the manga, we couldn't get to know more about him. Not much longer after that, Oko Shinomiya met Shirogane to negotiate how much does it take for him to break up with Kaguya. Long story short, Shirogane wants money, to which Oko agreed and give him 1 billion yen. But what we don't know is that Shirogane wants to use those money to take back Kaguya. The next few chapters took inspiration from the tale of the bamboo cutter. We've heard a bit of it in season 2 where Kaguya and Shirogane stargazing. Shirogane said that if he was the guy, he would have tried his hardest to take back Kaguya from the moon, which is what he's going to do. And with the help of all the student council members plus Hayasaka, they do the operation. I'd say it was a bit corny to see a bunch of teenagers go up against the top company who control almost everything in Japan. The company that had rumors where they get rid of everyone who get in their way. We then also get to meet Shinomiya Gan-an, Kaguya's father, who is now on his deathbed. Shirogane got some balls to ask for his permission to marry Kaguya. Gan-an then tells us about Kaguya's mother named Nayotake Shimizu. There is not much to know either about her mother, other than that she was once a top prostitute who stole the heart of Gan and Shinomiya. And this is the reason that Kaguya doesn't have many power inside the Shinomiya's family and treated as an outsider, because he was the result of Gan-an fucking around the red light district. Mikado Shijo offered that he will make Kaguya happy with all of his effort, but Kaguya rejects him, saying that she still has the heart for Shirogane. When all of this happened, the Shinomiya family was in chaos. Not only that there are countless shady rumors flying around, the oldest brother cannot find the will of Gan and Shinomiya. Long story short, Miyuki came and saved Kaguya, and Kaguya found the will and negotiated that she will let his brother take over the Shinomiya Corp with the catch that she will be free to choose her own way and her dream of becoming a photographer. I'd say this is one of the best final arc in romcom. I could even say that it is the same value as Nisekoi final arc. After the serious arc, the series felt a bit empty, since the goal and the resolution has been achieved. Ino and Ishigami's relationship hasn't gone anywhere yet. And then, let's talk about what I hate about this series. The last few chapters where Akasaka Aka gave everyone an open ending is a bit annoying to me. I don't mind if he gave 2 or 3 characters open endings, but everyone. First, we finally get introduced to Shirogane Mama in Shirogane K's final chapter. I'm a bit annoyed that we just get introduced to her within the last 10 chapters, which is stupid. The chapters also end by the narrator saying that Shirogane K's rebellious phase doesn't end here yet. I was like, okay, that was the first. I can accept it. Then come along Maki Shijo's final chapter, where Nagisa tried to make her happy by breaking up with Tsubasa. But it didn't happen since Nagisa was somehow pregnant with Tsubasa's child, so they get back together, but Maki Shijo doesn't have any problem with it. And the ending of the chapter is also hinting that Maki Shijo will find her own happiness later on. But then, again, Hayasaka Ai got one, and it wasn't even happening, it was just all a dream. It doesn't add anything to the series. I would say it was totally an unneeded chapter. Kobachi Osaragi final chapter was a bit bearable, and I don't think it counts as an open ending at all. Kobachi helped Ino to become student council president. This chapter took focus at her friendship with Ino, which is pretty beautiful and wholesome. Now, these 3 chapters after this is what I'm fuming about. I was happy and excited when the first chapter about Ishigami and Ino came. I was like, this is finally it. A confession, both of them getting together, but no, the second part was basically an intro to the sequel of the series, where Ishigami and Ino take the same path as Kaguya and Miyuki, where they battle to make each other confess. I think it's just bad. They could have gone together and that will be it. It will be a great ending to their relationship. Finally, the worst chapter in all of Kaguya-sama, Chika Fujiwara's last chapter. For all 281 chapters, we haven't seen any character development for Fujiwara. When the spoiler for this chapter comes, I was interested this might give Fujiwara a development, since he decided to try the romantic life, because there's this super famous guy from Vienna that tried to propose to her, but it's not happening. This is just Chika trying to make Kaguya jealous. And Kaguya was also a bit selfish in this chapter. When she and Shirogane was going out, she expects Chika to just accept it, but when Chika tried to do it with a guy, she was against it. So yeah, this chapter made my view on Kaguya get worse a little bit. Fujiwara Chika's involvement in Shirogane training was hilarious, I give her that. But her involvement in Ramen King segment was so boring, it is not funny at all. I would say that it is one of the things that Akasaka Aka failed at. And chapter 280 come along, which I also thought was a really bad chapter. It revolves around Miyuki and Mikado talking about geniuses. The punchline was Shirogane lied that he doesn't cared or interested in the test. It was really unfunny. I don't even acknowledge this chapter as one of Kaguya-sama's chapter. But the closure of the series with chapter 281 was great. The way they reminiscence about the student council and ended with the student council member Miyuki, Kaguya, Fujiwara, Ino, and Ishigami closing the curtain to the story was perfect. So yeah, other than last few chapters, I would say this is the best rom-com manga out there.